Over the decades, I've tested about every pickup truck in existence, and there's one that stands out as the best value and overall practical use, in my opinion. One that I'd probably buy, top of the list. And I bet you know what that might be, since you saw the title of this video. And don't worry if you don't agree, your voice inside will be heard here. And here it is, the Honda Ridgeline, but the Homeowners Association gets kind of upset when I do videos in front of my house, like my porch. So we'll have to go elsewhere to do this. Here we are, out in the great outdoors. A good place to have the Honda Ridgeline, which is actually one of my favorite trucks. And some people out there don't like the Honda Ridgeline. They think it's not a real truck. We're going to cover the pros and the cons. No one's going to be left out. And we're going to start with the cons first. Get it out of the way. And I'm going to roll this into the shade because it's going to be like 105 degrees out here and a little bit on the hot side. If you're thinking about buying a Honda Ridgeline, you probably heard the critiques. And the number one, people saying this is not a real truck, it's a minivan. Well, look up the definition of truck in the dictionary, and it says a motorized vehicle with an open bed made for hauling, and this has an open bed, and it hauls 1,650 pounds in the bed, so dictionary says this is a real truck. Are they smarter than the dictionary? I don't think so.
By the way, here's the official definition of truck. A large vehicle with an open or covered space in the back to hold a load of goods. End of quote. In the Ford Maverick is a unibody. No one says this isn't a truck. Probably because it looks more like a truck. It's a unibody. That is a truck, just like the Honda.
And the complaint number two, they say it really can't tow that much. 5,000 pounds. Well, it's like this. That's about the same bracket as the compact trucks, like the Ford Ranger and Toyota Tacoma. Yeah, a little bit more, but it's in the same ballpark. If you're going to tow more than 5,000 pounds, yeah, you need a bigger truck. But how many people do that in a truck? Not the majority. The fact is, most people that have the full-size trucks, F-150s, Rams and such, don't tow anything. Nor do they haul more than 1,600 pounds in the bed. So what difference does it make? Number three, you have the critics complaining about the short bed length, which is kind of a dumb argument, because with its wide bed, it holds a lot more gear than any of the other compact trucks. Although this is not a compact truck, but the Ford Ranger, Nissan Frontier, Toyota Tacoma, this holds more in the back than those trucks. So I don't see what the complaining is. Then we have the gripes about the push-button transmission, which I find totally ridiculous. People saying it's too hard to use, you have to take your eyes off the road to see what button you're pushing, and that is not true. Actually, you don't have to take your eyes off the road to see anything. This is all touch feel. I can blindfold myself. I know exactly what I'm touching. Flat park, groove reverse, flat neutral, slanted drive. Very easy to use versus a stick. You have to be taking your eyes off the road to go back and forth and back and forth. Put it in the wrong gear. No. Plus on a stick, you have to manually put it in park before you turn the vehicle off. If you don't put it in the wrong gear by accident, it can roll down the hill and destroy your vehicle here. You turn the ignition off, it automatically goes into park. This push-button system is superior to any stick control, period. And the fact we have so many people that have difficulty using this is very, very discouraging. How dumb are we getting? And then last but not least, there's some complaining about the cost. Around $40,000 base, went to around $46,000. We'll look at the specific price on this later. I tell you what, go down to your Ford, Ram, or GM dealer, try to find a double cab truck, which is a four-door truck with a four-wheel drive system for less than 50 grand. Lots of luck. Now let's flip the coin to show I'm not totally biased here. There's some things about this truck that are not good. They should have been corrected a long time ago. I'll show you a couple. Number one, I hate electronic parking brakes, and I'm glad Honda gave us a nice manual foot brake. But why did they have to put it like this right here? If I place my foot here, look how it digs into my leg. And it doesn't feel good, it hurts. Put my foot over here, it digs in the side of my leg. Why would you put something like that in a position like this? It makes absolutely no sense. Been a problem since day one. They should move it over at least a little bit. I don't get it. Then there's a Gauge cluster, a very, very nice design at the moment because we're in the shade, but this plastic cover, get in the sun and this is what happens. Here's what I'm talking about. A moment ago we were in the shade, now we're in the sun. I can't read this, can you? What really aggravates me, you can read like dozens of YouTube videos where they're testing this vehicle. Nobody says anything about this. They have to see it. Why don't they say something about it? That's why you should watch my videos and not theirs. In one minute, there are a couple of minor gripes, nothing serious. I'll mention them anyway. Number one, the turning circle of this truck is extremely wide. Like I'm driving a big Ford F-350 or something. Turning into a tight space or U-turn is not easy. A very wide circle, so you have to adjust. Well, the climate controls are easy to use. There are some complaints online about not being very effective for cooling off the cabin. If you live in the desert, like we have here, where the temperatures get to be 120 degrees, no, the system does not cool off very efficiently. The cabin is just too big for it. It was a little Honda Civic or a Honda Accord, maybe. And I suspect this is probably the same system out of the Civic or Accord to save money. And having a black cabin doesn't help either, which also attracts heat. I hope they're going to improve this for the redesigned 2025 model. And let's look under the hood. A lot of room under here. Could put a V8, I think. 3.5 liter V6, 280 horsepower. A very, very proven engine, good for 300,000 miles. Assuming you change the timing belt every 100,000 like you're supposed to. Hooked to a 9-speed automatic. Fuel economy 18 to 23 with an average of 20. And here's some numbers for you. Today we put 236 miles on. About 65-70% freeway. A little bit of city and off-roading, 21 mpg. Previously, 592 miles, 20.6. Here's another one, 602 miles, 20.6. I think you're getting the idea here. Pretty on target for what's claimed on the Windows sticker. You've probably seen this in other videos. I'm going to show you here because there's some pros and cons with this. The pros being true, the cons somewhat mythical and not really valid. By the way, I like the Ridgeline lettering they put on this particular model. Should be on all models. Isn't though. Okay, you can lower the tailgate like this. And I believe the weight capacity of this is something like 300 pounds. Or open it sideways like this for gear loading. Very ingenious. I like this. Surprisingly, there were some critics out there, one particular guy on YouTube, who didn't like this because he said it should be hydraulic. So it lowers down slowly instead of like this. Because when his kids lowered the tailgate, he was afraid they might get hit in the head. It's like, then why are you letting your kids lower the tailgate? Bad parenting award. And this brings up another so-called controversial feature, which should be controversial. That's the storage compartment under the bed. On a regular pickup truck, you have to put a tool box in your bed to protect everything, which takes up a lot of room. Very easy to break into. Here you have your storage bin under the floor, almost impossible to break into. Doesn't take up any room. You can also use it as an ice chest, although not really a good idea. Ice doesn't last very long. What's more important, the spare tire is located under here, which stays nice and clean and protected. If you ever had to crawl under a truck to unload a spare tire, especially in bad weather, snow, mud, 125 degree heat, it is no fun. It takes a long, long time. Here's not a problem. Just slide it out, change the flat, and you're done. You do this in a tuxedo and not get dirty as long as you're wearing gloves. This is a very ingenious idea and I like it. But as usual, there are some critics of this. Believe it or not. And the gripe is, well, what if I fill the bed full of sand and get a flat? How am I going to get down to the spare tire? Well, let's see. How about taking the tire out before you fill it full of sand and put it on top of the sand? Yeah. That didn't take much thinking, did it? Yes, I know I'm getting a bit of a sarcastic attitude in this video, but the fact is, this is a very, very advanced truck. Very well engineered. Lasts a long time. Not that badly priced. And it's a very, very nice vehicle. And all the criticisms against it are just totally silly in my book. They don't make any sense. The base price of Ridgeline starts around 40 grand. This is the TrailSport package. As you see, it costs a bit more. You're being charged extra for paint. A new gimmick car makers are doing. Do you get into your wallet? They're all doing it. The Mercedes I had a couple months ago was $3,700 extra for paint. Imagine that. Here's a total tab for this one. It's pretty much maxed out. So what are we getting on the TrailSport package? It makes it worth the extra dough. Well, you get the emblem on the grill for starters. You're getting special wheels. And tires made by General Grabber All-Terrain with some aggressive tread. Personally, I'm not a fan of General Tire Company myself. But someone in the media was telling us that these tires were specifically made for the Honda Ridgeline TrailSport, which I find hard to believe. They don't make that many, but who knows? Maybe these tires will work out just fine. As long as I don't get a flat, I'm not complaining. And somewhere under here, you're getting some type of skid plate to protect the oil pan, but not much else. Unfortunately, we didn't get any type of raised suspension on this package. The same 7.74 inches that we get on all the Ridgelines, as the tires are the same diameter. Yes, it is a legitimate gripe. Would like to see a bit more ground clearance like the early Ridgelines had, but this is for light duty, not for chasing Range Rovers and Jeeps, so that's just the way it is. Alright, show and tell is over. Let's go out and do some driving. By the way, if you watch my videos, you know every vehicle we get, we take it out in the dark and test the headlights and do a night drive. We did that with this vehicle, separate video on YouTube. You want to see that link? We'll have it at the end of this video. So you're getting 2 videos for the price of 1 free. Since this is a truck, it can be taken off-road. Obviously, you're not going to be chasing any Jeep Wranglers or Range Rovers. Let's see if we can clear those rocks. Yep. Maybe a bit on the high side, too. This is for light-duty use. And with all-wheel drive, it has the advantage over a 2-wheel drive truck. All Ridgelines are all-wheel drive now for better traction. So it does put it ahead of the pickup trucks. They only have 2-wheel drive, obviously. And one advantage of a unibody truck over a body-on-frame truck, the unibody's not going to rattle. Nice, solid one piece. This turns off the start-stop system. And here's the drive mode. Normal, snow, mud, and sand. Take your pick. Oh, my favorite girls. Hillary and Kamala. How you doing, babes? In all fairness, this motor was not designed for a truck or for minivans and cars. However, since this vehicle weighs about a half-ton less than your standard full-size pickup truck, it pulls quite well, and the lack of super low-end torque is not really an issue. On the pavement, this truck can reach 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds, which not only matches many of the big V8 pickup truck full-sizers, but in some cases can beat them. So bottom line is, there is really no lack of power. And on twisty roads like this, the handling is excellent. More like a car. And very well balanced with excellent weight distribution. And steering that's reasonably quick and responsive. Very, very quiet too. If you do a lot of highway driving, this might be the truck for you. Very smooth and quiet. If you keep the cruise control at 75 miles per hour, you might get the 23 MPG cleaned. On level ground, anyway. Either way, you're going to do better than those little 4-cylinder turbos you're getting in the mini trucks nowadays. They just don't cut it. Should have never gotten rid of the V6s. On the redesigned 2025 Ridgeline coming up, they're supposed to be offering a turbocharged 4-cylinder for fuel economy numbers to satisfy the government bureaucrats. But the good news is they're going to retain the V6 for the customers who want it. least we have a choice. Uh-oh, all the warning buzzers are going off. Warning, warning. Gotta get this Honda clean. After we get driving, I really like the Honda Ridgeline, one of my favorite trucks. However, if you want the TrailSport, there's one disadvantage, and that is you have to get the vehicle loaded with everything, sunroof and all the fluff that I don't want, but there is a way around that. You buy the base $40,000 Ridgeline, then you take it straight to the tire dealer, trade in the street tires for these grabber tires. And if you want to put on the skid plates later, you can do that. Save yourself around $4 grand. That's the way I'd do it. Either way, this is a very fine, reliable truck. Yes, it is a truck. And a very good value. Now if you want to see how these headlights perform in the dark and see our nighttime video, here's a link coming up. Click and watch.